Once, a young woman named Lyra received an invitation to a mysterious dinner party. The invitation came from an enigmatic host, Mr. Blackwood, who promised an unforgettable evening filled with fine dining, music, and entertainment. Lyra, intrigued by the invitation, decided to attend the event, despite her initial reservations. Upon arriving at the grand mansion, Lyra was greeted by the other guests, all of whom were strangers to her. They exchanged pleasantries before sitting down to dinner, where the conversation quickly turned to the strange and unusual. As the night went on, Lyra began to feel uneasy, sensing that something was not right. After dinner, Mr. Blackwood led the guests to a large room with a round table at the center. He revealed that the guests were not actually alive, but were trapped in a purgatorial state, unable to move on to the afterlife until they had resolved their past mistakes. Lyra was shocked by this revelation and felt a wave of fear wash over her. Mr. Blackwood then announced that each guest would take turns confessing their past wrongdoings and apologizing for their sins. Lyra watched as each guest in turn broke down and confessed to their darkest secrets and past mistakes. When it was Lyra's turn, she hesitated, unsure of what to say. But before she could speak, she was suddenly seized by an unseen force and dragged screaming into the darkness. The other guests looked on in terror as they realized that Lyra was being dragged to her ultimate demise. It was then that the true horror of the situation was revealed. Mr. Blackwood was actually a demon, who had lured the guests to his mansion to feed on their souls. The guests, including Lyra, were already dead, and Mr. Blackwood had been using them as a source of sustenance for centuries. Lyra's screams echoed through the mansion as Mr. Blackwood feasted on her soul, leaving nothing behind but a lifeless husk. The other guests, horrified and terrified, realized that they were trapped in this purgatorial state forever, doomed to be Mr. Blackwood's eternal feast. As Lyra's lifeless body fell to the ground, the mansion echoed with the demonic laughter of Mr. Blackwood, the sinister host of the invitation. The horror of that night was never forgotten, and the mansion became known as a cursed place, a place where the dead could never escape and the living should never enter.